I'm gonna take you fishing, honey. You're gonna love it. Gonna get up before the sun. Rise above.
Welcome back to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. Our next fishing stop in the Northwest is in Montana. We're talking with Mike Howe. He's the owner of Howe's Fishing, which operates avaialble charters and MoFish charters as well. Mike, I understand you have been fishing at Fort Peck Reservoir. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. Yeah, just got done with, a full week of ice fishing out at Fort Peck in eastern Montana. We actually were shooting a TV show with Jason Mitchell Outdoors from North Dakota, and so that was pretty exciting. And we were jigging for lake trout in deeper water. A lot of folks relate Fort Peck to shallow water, tip-up fishing for walleyes and northern pike and the occasional lake trout. But we targeted lake trout, jigging them up in deeper water, and man, we had a heck of a couple of days, I'll tell you.
Well, tell me more about that. Exactly what were you doing to get those lake trout, and on average, how big were these fish you were pulling out from under the ice?
Yeah, you bet. So we were focusing actually right off the dam in the town of Fort Peck. We were fishing a spot called Shaft House Point. And anybody that's familiar with Fort Peck understands where the shaft houses are. It's the intake for the power plant. And so we were looking at mostly secondary structure, humps off of that main point, 50 to 80 feet of water. We were aggressively jigging large spoons. The Super Leech Flutter Spoon by Clam Outdoors was just hammering the fish. White tube jigs, other large type of spoons. A little bit, some bait, minnow heads. It didn't really seem to matter, John. They were really chasing ciscos around, and we would see fish come in 2, 3 at a time, and aggressive jigging was the key, getting them to chase up. We could watch them on our electronics, watch them come up, go right past it, turn around, come back. We'd rise up to meet them, and we got caught kind of with our pants down several times on hook sets with a little bit of slack in the line, and you're reeling like crazy to catch up to them. And right about the time you feel the weight of the jig, then there's the fish on. So it was really, really fun fishing.
Mike, this sounds great. I'm guessing most of these were your eater size 3 to 5 pounders, but did you get any big ones?
Yeah, I got a 14.5 pounder on Tuesday, which was the bigger fish of the trip. But you're absolutely right. A lot of those fish were a little bigger than that. 5 to 8 pounds was probably our average. A lot of those fish in the 27 to 30-inch range. The ones that were, that we had caught that had already fed were, a couple pounds heavier. But we were targeting those ones that were coming in the feed that were a little bit more aggressive and really looking to smack the first thing they saw. So a lot of fun, some great eating fish. We caught a couple of northern while we were a little bit shallower, but again, we were targeting those Lakers and that 50 to 80 foot of water, and I'll tell you, I got a couple of sore elbows for proof that we were jigging very, very aggressively and some pretty great hook sets.
So I've got to ask, as good as the fishing was, because of the remote location of Fort Peck Reservoir in northeast Montana, I'm guessing it wasn't real crowded out there on the ice, was it?
No, it wasn't. And, I actually run some guides out of the Lake Ridge Lodging and Bait Shop right there in Fort Peck. So as an outfitter, I can employ those guides, and they work for me there year-round guiding. So it's really been great to bring those guys on because of the remoteness. We have a full-service motel, cabins, bait shop, food right across the street, and it's really turned into a full-service style resort for us, and it's just minutes off of Highway 2, 15 minutes out of Glasgow.
Oh, this sounds absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I know I'm catching you at the end of the ice fishing season. However, I'm going to ask you here, when does the ice go off? Because I've got to imagine that when the ice does come off, the fishing's got to be fantastic with lots of really hungry and energized fish.
Well, that's absolutely right. And, there's a lot of ice out on Fort Peck, and they got walloped by this snowstorm last weekend. So there's more ice and more snow out on Fort Peck right now than we've seen in a long time. So the ice fishing will go on well through March, unless they get a super warm up. But, parts of that lake, and then certainly the river below the dam, does start to break up and open up sooner. So typically by the 1st of April, we've got some good open water fishing opportunities available. It might be in the river, and we've got browns and rainbows and walleye and northern and just about anything that's in the Missouri River available to us there. But when that ice starts going off and it starts receding out into that deeper water, that's when the Lakers really start coming alive. But, the walleye and the northerns are going to be available on that shallower structure a little bit earlier than that. But typically by the 1st of April, we've got the boats out all shined up and baited up and ready to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, I live in central Washington, and you've got me wanting to hop in my truck and drive out there and try that fishing when the ice comes off. But, folks, whether you want to get in some last-minute ice fishing, because it's going to hold up through this month, or book a trip for some fishing right after ice off, the man to contact is Mike Howe. Why don't we give out your website so folks can book that trip?
You bet, John. Our website is www.howesfishing.com. That's HOWES fishing.com. They can reach me through there or call me anytime at 406-257-5214. We can basically get you set up with a guided trip on just about any water in the state of Montana.
That phone number again, 406-257-5214. That's 406-257-5214. Or go to howesfishing.com. Howes spelled HOWES fishing.com. Fort Peck, definitely the place to be fishing right now in Montana. Mike Howe and his crew are more than willing to take you out there for just about any species you want to go after. Mike, thanks for sharing this with us today on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
My pleasure, John. Always great talking with you.
Rise above us, got a bamboo pole and a leaky boat. It ain't much, but if you bail, it'll float. I'm gonna take you fishing, honey.